Jai Hind everyone. Myself Dr. Kamal Kumar Mittal, Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department, and today I am going to discuss about the subject Energy Science and Engineering. This is the course which is running by AKTU in second year for second year students. So the subject code of this subject is BOE 304. So first, energy. Energy is basically the capacity to do वर्क. इस कार्य करने की क्षमता को एनर्जी से हम डिफाइन करते हैं. देयर आर डिफरेंट फॉर्म ऑफ एनर्जी, लाइक वी कैन से काइनेटिक एनर्जी व्हेन द बॉडी इज इन मोशन, पोटेंशियल एनर्जी, देन एनर्जी न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी, एनर्जी बिकॉज ऑफ ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स और सम डिफरेंट फोर्सेस, एंड we can also say that the work is done by some body, means when we are moving a body from one place to another place, some work is done on the system and some work is done by the system in case of heat engine. So in both the way, energy is transferred from one form to another form. So this is energy, and the science, or we can say the use of energy for some domestic or commercial purposes. So this is called the engineering of energy. So there may be different type of energy sources, like renewable energy sources or renewable energy sources. So renewable energy sources, like we can say solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy. So and similarly non-renewable energy like coal energy, petrol energy, and these sources having certain limitations, and like the energy which cannot be renewed again, they are limited, they are exhausting, means so like coal, petrol, and these sources are replaced by the renewable energy resources like wind energy resources, solar energy, etc. So when we are talking about this subject, so like when we are talking about a heat engine, so in heat engine what is there? Some fuel is there, a mixture of air fuel mixture is there, and when the energy of this chemical, this fuel energy is transferred in movement of the piston to and fro when the engine is in vertical position, and when the system, or we can say when the engine is in horizontal position, the piston moves from inner dead center to outer dead center. So there are different terms used in this piston cylinder arrangement. So we will discuss each topic one by one in this subject. So there are 5 units. Now come to the, so first is the introduction. So in introduction, there is a different form of energy. So different form like kinetic energy. So we can say like kinetic energy, like suppose we are having this, this is a simple pendulum. Now initially this ball which is at rest, now when we are moving this from this direction, so this again turn back, and then this is moving in this direction, and this again. So this is a ball which is moving to and fro, and so when the ball reaches this end, right end, so it is having the zero velocity, velocity is 0, and because of the mass, the weight mg is there. So this ball having the energy of mgh, that is potential energy, mgh. So this is one of the form of the energy. Now at the mean position, the ball having the maximum velocity, मीन पोजीशन पे जो गति है बॉल की वो मैक्सिमम होगी. सो दिस एनर्जी इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू kinetic energy, and that is half mv square. So this is another form of energy, means potential energy converted into kinetic energy, and again kinetic energy is converted into potential energy when this ball reaches to this left end. Similarly, there is a nuclear energy. Now next is the heat engine. So these topics, different form of energy, heat engine, refrigeration and heat pump, steam and gas power cycles are related to unit 1. So heat engine is basically, the purpose of this heat engine is to convert the heat energy of the that generated due to the combustion of the fuel, air fuel mixture, and high pressure waves are generated, and these pressure waves are responsible to move the piston from one end to another end, means top dead center to bottom dead center when the position of the this heat engine is vertical, in vertical direction. When the position of the heat engine is in horizontal direction, the piston is moving from inner dead center to outer dead center and then outer to inner. So this way this makes a cycle, and there are different type of cycle, and this energy is converted into, heat energy is converted into kinetic energy, basically the movement of the piston, and then finally to rotational energy in transferring this energy to crank. So this way we will also study the different parts of engine like crank, connecting rod, piston, and some terminology like stroke, clearance volume, total volume, etc. And we will also study the efficiency of heat engine, that is basically the output upon input. So output efficiency is basically the output upon input. So now next is the refrigeration. So like refrigeration, the purpose of refrigeration or refrigerator is to maintain a certain temperature of a particular area lower than the ambient temperature, means surrounding temperature. जो सराउंडिंग का टेम्परेचर होता है उससे कम टेम्परेचर पे हमें एक पर्टिकुलर प्लेस को या पर्टिकुलर केबिन को का टेम्परेचर मेंटेन करना होता है. सो इन रेफ्रिजरेशन देयर आर डिफरेंट कंपोनेंट्स लाइक नंबर 1 कंप्रेसर, then we can say condenser, then expansion valve, or throttling we can say, and finally evaporator. So these are the 4 components which makes a complete cycle of this, and refrigerant is flowing in this, which takes the heat from the area that we have to maintain a certain the area which we have to maintain a certain temperature lower than the atmosphere. And similarly we are using heat pump. So the purpose, so now in refrigeration the performance parameter is not like in case of heat engine. तो रेफ्रिजरेशन में जो परफॉर्मेंस पैरामीटर होता है उसको चेक करने के लिए वो होता है COP, दैट इज कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस, एंड COP इज इक्वल टू द डिजायर्ड इफेक्ट, बेसिकली कूलिंग इफेक्ट, divided by work is done on net work is done on the system. So in this work is done by the compressor only. Then heat pump is opposite to the refrigerator. In this what we have to do, we have to maintain the temperature at a particular area higher than the ambient temperature. Now there is a relation amongst the coefficient of performance of heat and refrigeration. Then comes the steam and gas power cycles. So steam cycles and gas power cycles, we will study different cycles like Carnot cycles, Stirling cycles, some air gas cycles like Otto cycles for this, like Otto cycle, like Otto cycle, diesel cycle, then this Stirling, then Turn like Otto cycle, diesel cycle, Stirling cycle, Brayton cycle. Carnot cycle is the basic cycle, and these cycles having 4 processes, means in a cycle, like reversible adiabatic, or we can say isentropic process, some having like constant pressure process, constant reversible constant pressure process, or reversible isobaric process is there, reversible isochoric process is there, means isochoric means at constant volume. So when we are talking about steam cycles, so in this case the purpose of the cycle is to use the pressure of the steam. So by converting the water into steam, we are having the coal, and the energy of this heat energy is converted into is used in converting the water into steam form, and the pressure of steam is utilized in the steam turbine to run the steam turbine, and the energy is therefore produced by connecting the steam turbine to the generator, and then steam is condensed, the pressure of steam get lower, and then we condense the steam into liquid form, and again we are using the pump to send this liquid form of steam to the for again converting it into steam form. So this makes one complete cycle. Similarly, we are having the gas power cycle, we are using Otto cycle and diesel cycle. Now in the second unit there are fundamental forces in universe. The forces are like nuclear force, then electromagnetic force, then gravitational force, etc. So we will study these different forces. Then comes the nuclear fusion and fission. So nuclear fusion is basically the combination of the 2 atomic nuclei and to form a big nuclei. In case of nuclear fission, there is a bombardment of neutron atom, and therefore a high amount of energy is liberated, and this is basically the endothermic reaction. So endothermic reaction की वजह से जो बड़ी मात्रा में ऊर्जा उत्पन्न होती है उसका उपयोग करते हैं हम वाटर को स्टीम फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट करने के लिए. So we are using nuclear reactor, and we will study the different component of nuclear reactors, control rods, reactors, and heavy water, etc. And we will study different reactors. तो जो एनर्जी बड़ी मात्रा में मिलती है उसका उपयोग किया जाता है वाटर को स्टीम फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट करने के लिए, and the purpose is same, to produce the electricity. Then there are different parameters like half life, average life. Half life is basically the life needed or required, or half life means to disintegrate the original nuclei to its half. Then binding energy, nuclear reactor, safety issues. When we are using nuclear reaction or nuclear reactor, there are hazardous rays which is harmful to human being and the surroundings. So so we will discuss the different issues related to this, so that the environment, we can save the environment, we can save the human life also. Then in the third unit, solar energy. So as I have told earlier that solar energy is a renewable type of energy. So the energy or the radiations which comes from the sun. So there are different type of radiations also, like number 1, diffused radiation, then direct radiation, so direct radiation are those radiations which are coming directly from the sun, and diffused radiations are those radiations which are coming to the surface of the earth by first going to some, by reflecting or scattering through some obstacles. So and we will also study the different performance parameter of these radiations related to solar energy, like we will study different, like flow rate of air, flow rate, different angles like azimuth angle, etc. Then we will study semiconductors. In semiconductors, we will study the p type of semiconductor and then n type of semiconductor. So category of these two type of semiconductors depend upon the impurity imposed to the conductor. So like pentavalent impurity and trivalent impurity. So when we are introducing pentavalent impurity, so this is the n type of semiconductor, and when we are imposing the p type of semiconductors are those in which hole carriers are there here. Then different generation of solar cells. So there are basically 3 generation of solar cells, and these generations will define the advancement of the solar energy or solar cells as per the requirement from different time to time. समय समय के हिसाब से जैसे जैसे चेंजेस हुए उसके अकॉर्डिंग क्या डेवलपमेंट हुए हैं, and we are using different materials at different generations. Then in the 4th unit, that is biological energy. So biological energy जो है वो एनर्जी है जो कि हमें पेड़ पौधों के, प्लांट से, ट्रीज से, उनके जो डिकम्पोजिशन एक लाइफ के होने के बाद या जो उनकी लीव्स से एनर्जी मिल रही है, उनको डिकम्पोज करके जो एनर्जी मिल रही है वो बायोलॉजिकल एनर्जी है. एंड देयर आर डिफरेंट सोर्सेज, डिफरेंट प्लांट्स आर देयर to generate the biogas energy. And this biological energy is also depend upon the solar energy, because if solar is not there, if sun is not there, how the trees will grow? So therefore biological energy is also dependent upon solar energy. Then we will study fluid dynamics. In fluid dynamics, like if there is a pipe and a fluid is flowing in this direction, fluid may be a liquid or may be a gas. So there are different layers of this fluid, and there is a stress produced by these layers, and also the stress produced by these layers and this surface. So there may be a cylindrical surfaces or there may be rectangular surfaces, and we will also study the different types of fluid flow, like one directional fluid flow, two directional fluid flow. Similarly, there is a Newtonian fluid flow and non-Newtonian fluid flow. Then comes the wind energy. Wind energy is again a renewable type of energy, and wind is there because of pressure difference of the air. Air is moving with certain velocity, and this velocity or this kinetic energy is utilized in generation of the electricity by transferring its energy into the wind turbine. Then we are having the geothermal energy. In geothermal energy, the energy we are having the water inside the surface of the earth, and there is a hot rock called magma. Magma is there. So these hot rock and the water is surrounding there. So this water is converted into steam form, and that steam is utilized by drilling the surface of the earth up to that level, and this steam is used to run the turbine, and electricity is therefore produced. So जो steam है, जो वाष्प है, जो steam energy है, वो उसका उपयोग होता है steam turbine को रन कराने में. Now there are different type of system in the geothermal energy that we will study in detail in the coming slide. Then is the OTEC. OTEC is basically the ocean thermal energy conversion. Ocean thermal energy conversion, and this system is works when there is a temperature difference. The temperature at the surface of the sea is higher than the temperature inside the level or the layer which is very much below than the surface of the C. So because of this temperature difference, this energy is used, or this temperature difference is basically works as a heat engine, and therefore so we know that in case of heat engine, there is a source and there is a sink. So Q1 is and Q2. So source Q1 is energy is transferred to this, and this is divided into work done and some Q2 energy. Then tidal waves are there. This is again a source of energy, and this works when there is a gravitational pull or gravitational force between the we can say because of the lunar and solar effect, gravitational force because of the lunar and solar effect. Then finally and there are different type of tidal waves system, like single basin and double basin. So these are the different type of system which use the tidal waves, and therefore energy is converted from one form to another. Then in the last unit we will study the climate change, means the temperature of the world is increasing day by day because of the depletion of the ozone layer, and we will study the energy storage. There are different type of energy storage: thermal energy storage, chemical energy storage, energy like in case of battery we are using the batteries, and then energy conservation. Then green building. In green building we will study the water harvesting, how effectively we can utilize the water which is come in the form of rain for our some useful purposes. Then we will study the energy audit. So energy audit, there are 3 प्रकार के energy audit होते हैं, and we will study in this how we can effectively utilize or reduce the wastage of energy. So these are the different topics which we will study in different units. Now first is the energy. Energy is the capacity of a physical system to perform work. Energy exists in several forms such as heat, kinetic and mechanical energy, light, potential, electrical or other form of energy like nuclear energy. So first is the mechanical energy. So it is defined as the energy which can be used to raise a weight. So like we are having this, there is a surface is there, and so this is just you see that a table is there and one object is like that having a mass of m, so weight is mg. Now we have to transfer this weight from this, suppose this is the height h of this table. Now we have to place this mass from this end to this end. So to transfer this block from one end to another, we need some energy. Now when the body comes to this end, so this is having the potential energy of mgh. So this is one of the form of mechanical energy. Now it can be easily and efficiently converted into other energy forms, means we can convert it into kinetic energy or some other form, or like suppose this is a surface is there and this block is there of weight mg, and we are applying a force F to transfer this from, like this is the x1, so some work is needed, this is x2 minus x1, so some displacement is there and some work is there, that is F into delta x. So this work is done by the system, or this is the energy transfer, so we need some forces. Now we can also make it easy by using some pulley system, like we are having an inclined body here, and we are having a pulley here, and this is a block of mass m. So mg is the force. Now we are applying a force here. So this pulley makes it easy to transfer or to pull this object in upward direction. Similarly, we are using some gear arrangement to transfer energy from one medium to another medium. So can be easily and efficiently converted into other energy forms. Then the electrical energy. So second is the electrical energy, defined as that class of energy associated with the flow or accumulation of electrons, because of the flow of electrons. Like suppose this is a battery having positive and this is negative terminal. So electrons are flowing in this direction. This is a load, like bulb is there having certain resistance. This is wires. So current is moving in this direction and load is there having certain resistance. So this, to illuminate it, we need, so this is called the electrical energy. Now electrical energy is also used for, like we are having the press in our houses, to run the washing machine, to run different machines in the workshop like lathe machine, milling machine. So we are using the electrical energy, and this electrical energy is generated by different way, like we are having the steam turbine, we are having gas turbine. In the steam turbine, water is converted into steam form and this steam is utilized. This is the pressure of this steam is responsible to rotate the rotor of the turbine, and therefore electricity is generated. So large quantity of electricities are transferred over long distances with the use of high voltage transmission lines. And also there is a huge loss when we are transferring the energy from one source to another source. So how we can reduce these losses? So we will study in the last unit, that is energy audit, means we will see how much is the input energy and how much is the output energy and what are the losses and how we can reduce these losses. Now third is the chemical energy. So chemical energy defined as energy that is released as the result of electron interactions in which two or more atoms and or molecules combine to produce a more stable chemical compound. So the application of this energy is like ECM. ECM is electrochemical machining. So electrochemical machining. So in this, what is there? There is a tool. This is a tool, and it is at, and this is at cathode. Negative potential is there, and second is the workpiece, and this is at anode at the positive potential. So there is a gap between the tool and the workpiece, and we have to maintain this gap. Otherwise, and what is there? We are using the electrolyte here, and because of the chemical reactions due to Faraday law of electrolysis. As because of Faraday's law of electrolysis, the mass which is liberated, added or removed from the substance is directly proportional to the amount of electricity or amount of charge flow. So the workpiece, there is a chemical reaction between the tool and the workpiece, and जैसा शेप टूल का होता है वैसा ही शेप हम वर्कपीस पे जनरेट करते हैं. एंड वन मोर थिंग वी हैव टू, एक सावधानी हमें रखनी होगी कि जो गैप है टूल और वर्कपीस के बीच में ये मेंटेन रहेगा. गैप शुड बी मेंटेन, इट शुड नॉट बी लेसर और मोर. So similarly, one more machining process is there, that is EDM. That is electrical discharge machining. So in both the process we need electricity. Workpiece should be conductive in nature, but the difference is that in ECM the reaction is because of chemical reaction, Faraday law of electrolysis is there. In EDM the removal of material is due to heating and vaporization, means we are using there is spark is there, and this spark will generate high amount of heat. So and both the process is used to machine complicated object or hard materials. So like in this electrochemical machining, a method of removing by electromechanical process, it is normally used for mass production and for hard materials. And because of electricity limitations, we can use some other processes which do not require electricity, like abrasive jet machining, etc. So then ECM can cut small and odd shaped angles, indicate complex materials. So this is about the basic of energy, different form of energy, and basic utilization, basic application of the energy. So this is all about the today's discussion. Thank you very much.